Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another Sunday night live stream. Tonight's stream we are going to talk about Bitcoin's price action over the last week, which has got everyone buzzing. We're going to talk about XRP and of course the recent merge of CHSB to Borg. So make sure you slap the like on the stream and yeah, we'll get going in a second. Let some more people jump in. How we all doing? A lot of sports fans in tonight. Nice to see. How we doing, Mark, Jamie, Paul, Jay? How we all doing? Bet everybody's buzzing. A bit of green in the markets gets everyone excited. It's nice to see Bitcoin putting in a lovely weekly candle. It's going to be the highest weekly close we've had since August the 7th. In fact, we could actually squeeze out till July, depending on where we finish off tonight. And we'll talk about what we think is going to come in the week up ahead. We've got a lot going on in traditional markets. We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at gold, which is on an absolute tear, as we've been predicting for a few months. And I know some of our CC Pro Alpha members got a heads up on a gold trade a few weeks ago now. It'll be up nicely as well. So we'll cover a lot of things in the stream. If you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll try and get to them. And yeah, let's go. So as we can see, Bitcoin putting in a lovely weekly candle, up almost up 10% in the week. Huge week for Bitcoin. And we'll take a look at some of the altcoins that have benefited as well, including Solana, which I know a lot of our members have been talking about. It's pumped massively over the last few days. And we'll also look at, can it continue? Can we have another week of green this week coming? So a lot to cover on the stream tonight. So let's dive in, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So as we can see, we've been in this uptrend since basically November, but most importantly is we've still not cracked this $31,500 level. We've had a huge week this past week, pumping over 10%, and we've came right up to the $30,000 level of resistance that we've had marked out for a while. So continuing the uptrend, another higher low. People have been speculating, are we going to break this resistance? I don't see why not. If we flip over to some of the shorter time frames, the daily, you can see that the rally is kind of stalling, but it might just be taking a bit of a breather like it did here. You know, we had a couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, where it just went sideways and then finished the week strong. So could we be seeing that again before we break out? And I've marked on this trend line here that we'll talk about in a second. But Bitcoin's looking really healthy on a lot of the metrics, a lot of the indicators. And if we do manage to break this zone, which for anyone that's been following the channel, me and Deck have spoke about a lot, we've been under this resistance since May 2022. So when we do break it, it's going to get exciting fast, and I'll show you one of the reasons why in a second. F1 and CC Pro on a Sunday. Nice, Paul, and some NFL fans as well. So we'll look at this trend line first. So this trend line is floating about. A lot of people use diagonals. We don't trade them a lot, but the last one we did trade was this breakout here, which was very fruitful for CC Pro members. If you're not in CC Pro, what are you missing out on? You're missing out on weekly market analysis, trading, you've got copy trading, you've got a podcast, you've got daily updates, you've obviously got the chat room. So if you're not in CC Pro, get in now before the halving, because it's going to get very exciting, and we're going to help our members make as much money as possible in the bull run. So like I say, we've not traded diagonals a lot in the past, but this one here, we did trade this breakout. We took profit, I think, up here. So the trade looked something along the lines of this, I think we took profit about here. So we took profit about 3.5R and got out of the trade, took our win and moved on. If we look at this trend line, this one dates back to September. This is the 4-hour chart, and you can see it's interacted with a number of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times. But what's key is it never seems to break through the resistance at that level. So here it was at 26.5, didn't break through the trend line, came down, consolidated, and then broke up past it. Came back to the trend line, broke down sideways, eventually broke up past it. So could we see that just now? Potentially, we may need a bit of cool off. A 10% move in an asset like Bitcoin in 1 week happens a lot, but we are technically still in a bear market. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of macro stuff happening. So for Bitcoin to just do another 5, 6, even 10% move is probably unlikely next week. It's probably going to need to cool off for a few days. But if we look at gold, which we will in a second, it's been moving very similarly recently. So if this trend line gets broken, Bitcoin is going to move very fast, and I'll show you on the weekly time frame what I'm talking about. So if we zoom out a little bit on the weekly time frame, and we add, you might have seen this before. This is the volume profile, it's called. It just shows you the volume at each price level, and it's a really important indicator. But as you can see, if we break this level here around 31.3, there's not a lot of volume as resistance above, and that's going to make the price move very quickly because there's a lot of there's a vacuum, there's no resistances, and we're probably going to pump very quickly to this level here, 36.5. And that's been our base case for months. Once this level finally gets taken out, then we will move very quickly because we'll have shorts closing, we'll have more retail FOMO, and this is kind of the level everybody's been watching ever since we dropped into the bear market properly back in 2022. So that's the level I'm watching for. We do need a candle close on the daily above that level before we get excited. Don't trade wicks, wait for the candles to close. And I think we could see that in the coming weeks. I think we might need a bit of cool off for a few days and then we go again. Now, a lot of people in our Discord chat room have been talking about this potential head and shoulders pattern. So this is the bearish case. We've covered the bull case. Let's talk about the bear case so that we're prepared. So this would be the bearish scenario. We've got a head and shoulders pattern forming at the top of our rally. As you can see, this right shoulder isn't far away from invalidating this pattern. So if this shoulder comes up to 31.3, then the pattern's invalidated, which would be good news because the downside target for head and shoulders would be, let's draw it on. So the target is the height of the head, and as you can see, the target would be about $19,000. So let's hope that doesn't play out, but we could see a bit of cooling off, and it'll lead a lot of people to think it is in play. And that's what smart money does, it tricks people. So it'd be interesting to see if we did get a slightly down week this week, if we get a lot of shorts piling in, and then market makers just move the price up and crush all the shorts. I'd like to see that. That would be a nice move. How's everybody feeling with the markets? Everybody buzzing with a bit of green this week? A lot of alts have done very well, one of which we'll come on to in a second. So here is gold. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So we've been saying for 6 months in CC Pro, in all our market analysis, in our podcast, we've been saying we believe Bitcoin and gold are going to be seen as the flight of safety trade. When the stock market starts rolling over, people realize that their dollars are worth nothing because there's so much debt in the States, that Bitcoin and gold are going to go wild. They're going to do very well. And gold over the last 2 weeks is up 8%, which in a $10 trillion market cap asset is a huge move for gold. And it's basically just telling everyone that the dollar is doomed long term. People are flying to safe, hard money, and that's why Bitcoin's doing well. So we could see Bitcoin putting another green candle like this, break out a key resistance. It wouldn't surprise me this week. And just to add to that, we've also got the S&P 500. So it's broken out of its channel that it's been in since October 2022. It's broken down and it's now below the 200 MA as well. If it falls below this level here, then the S&P 500, in my opinion, is going to drop, and it'll probably drop quite quickly. And I would imagine it could drop to about 4,000. That would be the level I'd be looking for. So, a lot going on in the world. We could see Bitcoin properly diverge and be the safety trade. Now, if we look at it on the daily, as I said, it's kind of topping out here. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we did get, a bit of bouncing around, ranging here for a few days before we make another move. That's kind of what I would expect. But to be honest, these Bitcoin candles have been huge. So, there's nothing to say that it couldn't just go on another tear. When the futures markets opens later tonight, it opens about 11 PM UK time. If there's any weakness in the dollar, there's any issues that come out, because it's Sunday nights when news kind of gets announced, then we could see Bitcoin just absolutely fly later on tonight. And obviously we know that there's a lot of things going on around the world that could influence the dollar. Let's have a look at the DXY. If you're new to the channel or if you're not tuned in before, you know the DXY is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. When it goes up, Bitcoin struggles and normally dumps. When the DXY comes down, Bitcoin pumps. And over the last few months, we've actually seen Bitcoin trade sideways as the DXY went on this 12-week rally. It seems to have topped out. It's now moving sideways. This was our potential target, but it does look like we might start rolling over. So if that happens, Bitcoin will fly. It has broken out of its downtrend. That would be the only danger, is it was in, it put in a low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and now it's about to put in a higher high, which is a bullish pattern, bullish trend, uptrend. So, be interested to see what happens this week with DXY. Obviously, we're trying to prepare for both scenarios, and just kind of help educate everyone on what we see in the markets. Let's have a look at XRP. Let's go to the daily. So XRP, obviously, some more huge news last week. The lawsuit against the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, was dropped. It was just abandoned. The SEC just gave up because they knew they had nothing. So, bullish news for XRP, bullish news for the market, and it's just another win against the SEC. I would imagine that the case is getting wrapped up as we speak. There's no way the SEC can win. They're not even challenging now. And another piece of bullish news last week. We saw XRP rally on Thursday up 7% in the day, but as we've been saying, it's still in its weekly uptrend, dates back to January, and it's quite a nice orderly trend. Yeah, 100%. SEC's job is to just tie people up in legal lawsuits and wait for them to give in. It's like submission. They just tie them up in legal nonsense, hoping that whoever they're up against just gives in and pays them money. That's how the SEC function. They make money off settlements and creating stupid rules that then they can tie other businesses up in. So I think they finally realised that Ripple just weren't going to give in, and obviously the judge is on the side of common sense and has used the law to dismiss a lot of the charges that the SEC had against Ripple, and then they didn't even follow through with their charges against the CEO. So really bullish news for XRP, but bullish for crypto as well, because it's just more and more victories against the SEC. We saw the Grayscale won their court case against the SEC, and then it went unchallenged because the SEC realised they couldn't win. So it's losing all credibility, and there's a lot of pressure in the US on Gary Gensler, but there's also a lot of pressure on this whole anti-crypto army. You know, Elizabeth Warren, people like that are, you know, they claim to be protecting investors, but actually they are just stifling the crypto industry in order to protect the fragile banking traditional system. If they open up the money to crypto, the banking system is going to collapse, and they all know it. And that's my belief, is that they're just trying to protect the banking system, which is where all their friends, all their business partners, probably where they make a lot of their money comes from. But XRP looks really healthy here. We do need to crack this 200 MA, which it seems to have come up against here. But if you look at it, could it be putting in a double bottom? Potentially. That's on the weekly, but the 200 MA in the daily is at the exact same spot. So if we crack that in the next few days, that'll be very bullish for XRP, and we could see a big rally in price. Kieran, not sure if it's just me, but anyone else think it'd be too easy for Bitcoin to go up from here? Yes and no. So I'll answer that in a typical way of giving a balanced answer. I'll try and do both sides. So I know what you mean, is that it's just pumped out of nowhere, but if you zoom out, it's actually not. It's not been easy. If you've been in the crypto market pre-May 2022, all you've known is red and sideways. So Bitcoin's been below $31,500 for 525 days. So I wouldn't say that was easy. I don't know about anyone else, but it's been tough. It's been one of the worst bear markets. It's been brutal with FUD, with news, the banks cutting off people getting access to crypto. Price is just traded whatever way it wants, not even logically. Sometimes you think it's going one way and then it trades, you know, you've got scam wicks like this. So I wouldn't say it's been easy. What does everybody else in the chat? Does everybody think the bear market's been easy? This was September 2019, before the halving, so similar time, and you can see we had a massive weekly candle, probably about the same time in October, actually a week out. So we had this weekly candle which was 15%, and then Bitcoin rolled over and dropped 27% over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So you are right in that we are at a key resistance. So we've been saying it for about a year. We've been saying we're not getting excited, we're not on a bull run until we crack 32k and close a significant time frame candle above 32k. By that I mean daily, 3-day or weekly. Till that happens, then we won't be getting too excited. But you are right, and you know, if we look back at the last pre-halving September, October time, we had a similar pattern. We pumped, massive green candle, and then we were here. So if we roll over, then, you know, yeah, it would make sense we could follow this pattern. But what I would say is we've got all this to go. And this is where is it too easy? People were probably saying that here, if you think about it. You know, once we broke out of here, people were saying, yeah, but it's not just going moon. That would be too easy. And then it goes on, and once we broke the previous all-time high, again, people would say, we had this green candle here. I'll try and zoom in. Apologies. So we had this green candle here. People were saying, yeah, it's not just going moon now that it's broke that, you know. And then they had a red candle which freaked everybody out. Look at that wick. That's in December 2020. That wick would have caused loads of people to expect it to dump, and then Bitcoin went crazy. And from that point on, went up. In 112 days, it went 240%. And again, people would have been saying, it can't be that easy, it's not going to be that easy. And it's not. Like, there's still these big drawdowns. Like, look at this. That's a 15% drawdown in the middle of the biggest bull run we've had. So, yeah. Depends on your definition of easy. But Bitcoin moves in its own way. It's very hard to predict. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of smart money paying attention to Bitcoin. And that is going to draw a lot of manipulation and a lot of volume as well, which will cause buying and selling. So, yeah, I wouldn't say this bear market's been easy anyway. Mark, certainly wasn't easy buying the dip week after week. Yeah, exactly. If you're buying down here when everybody's telling you you're an idiot, it's going to go to 10k, it's going to go to 8k. There were some stupid predictions, 6k I think I heard at one point, and you're buying around 16k. You probably felt like this is the worst decision. I'm just going to lose money. And if you actually bought here, what are you up? Yeah, 85% to today if you bought around here. So it only seems easy now, and you're like, oh, of course I was making the right decision. But at the time, it's very hard. And it'll be the same in the bull run. Taking profits at the top will seem like the hardest thing you've ever done, because it could go higher, could go to this level, could go to that. But fast forward 6 months, if the price comes down 50%, then you'll think, smartest decision you ever made. Bradley, the head and shoulders seems too easy of a short. Yeah, potentially, but 2 seconds. Again, it's hindsight, because this head and shoulders played out perfectly. So there's a head and shoulders pattern there, caught most people offside. A lot of people wouldn't have traded this, because again, too obvious. And if you did, then you're up. If you traded it, especially if you traded it with leverage, at the peak you were up 30%. So 10x leverage, you're on 300% gains from that head and shoulders. So it's very hard in the moment. It's a lot easier in hindsight. Yeah, Kieran, to be fair, like, but could we do, I agree with you, sentiment is very positive, which throws me off a bit. People are predicting 40k, they're doing stuff like I just did and said, right, we're going to 36.5, so that does add a bit of bearish sentiment to it. But we have also tested this level once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Coming up, if we go up to test it, that'll be the 7th time. There's only so many times a resistance holds, eventually it breaks. So yeah, it'll break eventually, and even then people will be saying, you know, it's going to 20k, it's going to 25k, whatever. But it could do something like, let me find my arrows. So it could, you know, if we did break up, there's nothing to say it goes to 36.5, you know, comes down, does something like that, and then drops, and then goes. There's nothing to, you know, Bitcoin moves like that in times. So it could do something like that. It's going to shake as many people out. That's why we say buy and hold, dollar cost average, hold for the long term, and we know by the summer of 2025 we'll be taking massive amounts of profit and we'll be up significantly in our portfolios, rather than try to trade the daily and the hourly moves. Don't get me wrong, we do trade it. We've got copy trading going in CC Pro, so we will trade it, but the majority of our portfolio is long-term buy and hold investments, so you don't get shaken out by these big wicks, big moves that just absolutely crush you like here. And we've also still got the Binance FUD, which I believe is FUD, but you know, could something happen there? Potentially. Alright, let me talk about CHSB transforming to Borg. So this past week, to all the CHSB holders, it merged or migrated to a new token called Borg. For anyone holding it on SwissBorg, you didn't have to do anything. They've converted it 1-for-1, and it's going to bring more utility and more use to the token, but it's also going to make it more appealing to the wider global market, which can only be good for price. And if we look at the price of CHSB over the last month, I think it's up 65%, but in the last week we were down here. Not entirely sure how accurate these charts are because they don't hold a lot of data for CHSB, but at one point we were down at 16 cents, we're now up at 21 cents, we were up as high as 31 at one point. So there's a lot of volatility in Borg, there's a lot of attention on it right now, and again, this is one of our biggest long-term holds, so congratulations to anyone that was buying. I remember it was down at 12 cents not long ago, yeah, in the summer. Here we got as low as 11 cents, so if you were buying the fear, buying down there, then you're up almost 100% right now, and it's still got miles to go until it reaches its all-time high, which I think it will easily surpass in the bull run. SwissBorg's just got too much going on. If you don't use SwissBorg, if you're new to the channel and you're not in CC Pro, get in CC Pro would be my advice. But also check out SwissBorg. There's links in the description. Number one place to buy, hold and sell, especially your crypto. Easy to take profits, easy to move money in and out, and yeah, we're very bullish on Borg, the new token. It also gives you a lot of confidence that you hear all these stories of hacks, problems with migrating, networks going down, things like that, and SwissBorg merged their token and literally there was no drama. They announced it, it happened, and then they announced that it was over and nothing affected anyone. So bullish on the team, the company, and just overall SwissBorg. Can't speak highly enough of them. Kieran, no, like I love the balance. We need to have both sides. You can't be a perma bull all the time because that's how people get wrecked in crypto. Remember here, people were screaming Bitcoin was going to 32,000. It was going to smash resistance because of the grayscale news, and literally over the next 2 days, it ended up, or next 3 days, it actually ended up down 9%, ended up lower than before the grayscale news. So anything can happen in crypto. That's why we trade, but we're also very cautious, because when people are screaming for 40k or whatever the latest round number is that they seem to be using for clickbait, that's typically when the market rolls over and humbles everyone. So you're right to be suspicious. Let's check out Solana. Solana's had an amazing few days. Is there many Solana holders in the chat? I know there's a few in CC Pro. So Solana's up 32% pretty much this week. Huge bullish candle. Let's have a look. So again, Solana, December 2022, a lot of fear, a lot of Solana's going to, I think I heard $3 at one point. FTX was going to sell their holdings. It was named by Gary Gensler in one of his lawsuits at the start of the year. If you were buying that fear, then you are up a massive 188% so far. And again, if we zoom out, we are still 750% to all-time high. So huge room for growth in Solana. I think it's got a wee bit of resistance, but you can also see, anyone that tuned into our stream a few weeks ago, we looked at the BNB chart and you could see that there was no support below $200. Well, Solana doesn't have any resistance above 47 until 79. So if it breaks that level there, then this is its next target. 66% trade, 10x leverage, that's 666% gains, and it looks a pretty good trade, to be fair. You might get resistance there, but you could easily trade that. So that will be one to watch. Let's just add a little zone. So that zone there breaks, Solana's going to $77 or $79. That would be another amazing trade. But yeah, bullish week, uptrend still intact, as you can see. Higher low, higher low, higher low. It's also going to put in a higher high, very bullish. And regardless of all the FUD surrounding Solana, it looks like it's on an absolute tear. It is a bit of resistance here, so we might see a pullback this week. You know, it's at this low here. But again, tested this resistance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it broke it on the 6th attempt. So huge week for Solana. Friend room, never heard of it, but let's check. I'll check it out for you. Sounds very scammy. Can't even see it. So the altcoin market cap, if you are in CC Pro, you'll know we update this every week. Last week, obviously, we had sold off a bit and we expected to hold this level. We've held this level a number of times, which is very bullish. Bullish engulfing candle last week, and nice to see the overall altcoin market cap back above that 500, I think it's 27. Yeah, 527 billion level. So it looks like we're going to close about 532. Very bullish, that type of candle. And if we look at the overall crypto market cap, you can see we're at the weekly 200 MA, which might pose a bit of a problem, and we might see it holding as resistance. We have broke the daily, let's see, and we are at an area of resistance. So it's going to be an interesting week to see if Bitcoin can continue its bullish momentum. We could see Ethereum versus Bitcoin bounce last week as well. So there's nothing to say that we couldn't continue some sideways action in Bitcoin. Maybe see dominance rise, alts selling off, and that would, the market cap wouldn't then rise, but it would mean there was a massive sell-off in Bitcoin. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. I do think Bitcoin is the one to watch, and it'll lead the market because it's the narrative that's being played out right now. Is Bitcoin is this safety trade. It's where people are looking to put their money that they don't want to hold US treasuries, US dollars, or stocks, because as we showed earlier, the stock market's rolling over. We've also got US Treasuries at their highest level since 2007. I think the 30-year highest level since 2007. If we go to the 2-year, I'm sure it's the highest level since 2007, but it was at, I think it got as high as the December 2000 level at one point last week. So huge issue for the US government, and that's pouring money into things like Bitcoin and gold, which is very bullish. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone want to go over anything? Make sure you like the stream. Like I say, if you're not in CC Pro, now is the time to take some action. The halving is less than 6 months away, and it is, regardless of what anyone says on Twitter, the #1 driver in the crypto market. Get prepared, get into CC Pro so that you can make as much money. And it's not just about making profit, it's about taking profit and minimizing losses as well. Anyone that joined our copy trading last week, we've got loads more trades coming up this week. Be interested to see what we do with Bitcoin. I'll try to trade it quite cautiously and minimize our losses right now, but be interested to see what Bitcoin does. And there's a lot of moves happening in the market. We've got Dogecoin, which nearly got to its target here. So our entry was at the 50% retracement here. We actually didn't take this trade. We missed out. I think it happened during the night. But that's the type of trades we'll be looking at this week. And we would have made 4.75R, so nearly 5R on that trade. $100 trade, you would have made $500. And what is that? In 2 days. So not bad bit of trade. Plenty more of them coming this week though. And this is exactly what you have to be wary of in crypto. So here's a trade that we put on, but we didn't have a wide enough stop loss. So you can see that our trade actually played out. Again, 3R trade, but our stop loss was too tight, and we got wicked out with these scam wicks that you can see on the screen around here. If it had been a bit wider, we would have hit our profit target. So the crypto markets are designed to shake you out, get you out the market before smart money moves in. And FTM's up nice as well. Look at that candle. Up 10%, but it was down at its old low. So 20% off its low. So what does everybody think? Bitcoin going to break this resistance, or are we going to retrace this week? Let's see what everybody thinks. Get a wee sentiment check. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat. Again, we dropped this in CC Pro. It looked like a double bottom. This is our target, and you can see Ethereum is well on its way to hitting this target. A nice move from here. So that would have been a 4.5% move. I think we were trading it on 50x leverage. So what would that be? 44%. So about 250% profit in that move. And it's well on its way to playing out. And it might actually go on to this trend line that we've drawn. Let me zoom out and show you. It goes back all the way to April. Loads of touches. So if we break out of that, then next stop for Ethereum's 1782. So a lot of bullish momentum from the altcoin market, led pretty much by things like Solana. AVAX had a big week, and a few others. Declan's bullish, love it. Wouldn't surprise me if it kicked off tonight, Declan. Futures market in the States opens at 11 PM, and it always kick starts the week. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Where were we? Let's have a look and see. Yeah, if you think about last Sunday, we were just here. Let me get rid of that. So last Sunday, this is kind of what we were doing. We were just trading sideways. It came off a few days of red, trading sideways, and then Sunday we absolutely blitzed, and then went on. 2 days later we were up 6%. So could be huge. Let's see what happens. Price prediction on Borg, we're at 21 cents, so conservative, at least all-time high, at least, which is minimum of 10x if you've been buying all through the bear market. So, but my price prediction is much higher. I think it'll probably do a 10x from here, which would be nice, especially buying around 12 cents, 11 cents. If you topped up some bags there, lowered your price, then a 10x from here would be huge. Cardano still in this bottoming out accumulation. Let me move over. This is Cardano versus Bitcoin. You can see, looks like it's bottomed out. One of the sayings we kind of repeat a lot of time is big wicks always get filled, because they're just liquidity. So when a big wick happens, it just shows you that there's liquidity there, and price then fills that wick. There was a big wick on Cardano here, measured in Bitcoin, and you can see we've now pretty much filled the entire wick. So I would expect Cardano to start moving up, measured in Bitcoin, but that would probably translate to Cardano in USD, because again, is trying to fill this wick. So could see a big move for Cardano in the next few weeks. BNB still hanging on, still holding this support. I think everybody expected it to break, but like I've been saying, there's a lot of people as well been saying time to short BNB. People have been piling into shorts for weeks, basically back to the start of August when this happened. There's a lot of apparently news, and there's loads of analysis of CZ and Binance and what they're doing, but price maintains this level, and until it breaks, you don't trade it because it's at support. So you can't take a short at support, you can't take a long at resistance. You need to wait for it to break. So yeah, it seems to be holding up. The only thing I would say is it seems to have run out of steam. This was kind of our prediction. It would drop down, bounce, and then drop properly. That still looks like it's in play. Could it be one last shakeout of the markets before the bull run? Potentially. And that's kind of what I think Kieran was saying earlier, was everything's too positive, seems too easy. It's not been that scary for a while. Something like this would cause chaos in the markets, because Binance has such a pivotal role in crypto. So let me see if I can pull up a chart. Binance USD is dropping dominance, and TUSD. There's a lot of talk about TUSD on Twitter about how that's what is being used to buy Bitcoin recently. You can see it's had a massive surge in dominance, so that means it's taken over market cap, but still a tiny percentage. So probably more Twitter FUD, or X as it's now called. So for me, I'd like to see Bitcoin just trade sideways for a couple of days, cool off a little bit before we go again. That'll give it enough strength to actually get up and challenge this resistance. If we don't see that, then we might fizzle out and just round off, come back down before we go. Or what I've been saying all summer, Bitcoin is going to thrive when there's weakness in the US economy, and that weakness is starting to show. Let's have a look at, if we look at some of the big cap stocks, look at Tesla for example. Last week Tesla was down 15%. Market cap's about 800 billion, so even more than Bitcoin, and it's down 15%. Amazon started dropping. Apple is down, so they launched their new, or they announced the new iPhone here, and it's down 12%. So stock market, S&P 500, again July to here, we are down 8%. So the weakness in the economy is starting to show. Like we've been saying, gold will do very well, which it has done. Bitcoin will also do well, which is now starting to catch up. So we could just see an absolute monster week, but we break 32k and we'll go to 36.5 very quickly. Nice, James. Nice to have you on the stream. Yeah, bear markets are tough. You see red day after day. You see nonsense news day after day. And it's emotionally and mentally draining. Not to mention, you're still having to buy even when these prices are just horrendous. I remember, where was it? Let me find it on the chart. I think it was around here. Potentially higher actually. And people were saying Bitcoin won't go, I think it was around here. And people were saying XRP won't go below 60 cents. I think that was about, yeah, must have been about here. And people were saying 60 cents, it won't go below, and XRP dropped as low as 29 cents. Was it 29 cents at the bottom? 28 cents. The bear market has been rough, and it's very hard to block out the noise and just buy DCA. And if you were buying down here for XRP, it goes to $5, then you're $5 plus, then you've made an absolute killing. Let me see if I can get a chart for OCC. Don't know how good it'll be. Yeah, let's try and use this. This is the problem. Yeah, I think OCC is a really good project. I know a lot of our CC Pro members hold OCC. It's been having, I think, was it up something mad in the last few weeks. And again, if you've been buying down here, then you're up, what's that, 15%, but at one point a lot higher. So yeah, I think, where is OCC? Let's take this as its peak. Let's ignore that nonsense. So yeah, still down 99%. So yeah, we're quite bullish on OCC. A lot of our members hold it. You can buy it on SwissBorg. So yeah, I think it could definitely go back to its all-time high. didn't actually realise how, although BNB had a bullish week, it actually just hit this previous support and is now resistance. So it actually doesn't look great. That was the June 2022 low, which was the low for a lot of altcoins. The first major low where it started to bottom out. That was support back then, and that's exactly where BNB's back to as resistance. Draw it on so that people can see. So that's actually pretty weak from BNB. So we may see, let's just pull that down. Look at that. Price always returns to key levels. That was a key level, and it's now returned back and tested it as resistance. So BNB not looking great. Let's see on different time frames. Just kind of chopping sideways. Kind of need it to move some way before we make a proper analysis. But yeah, we need to see BNB get up and out of here to clear any FUD. If it was to sell off, then we might see it break this support. Chili's looks pretty bullish. It looks like it's bottomed out. Like I said, it's filled the big wicks and now it's moving up. Looks like a double bottom. It's going to probably close above. So that's quite bullish for Chili's. Where it leads to probably get back up here. 30% move. Daily 200 MA might get in the way, but let's get back to Bitcoin. So as you can see, we are right slap bang at this trend line that goes back to the start of September. Will we break it? The futures market opens in a few hours. It looks like it may come back down here. We might see some test of support before we go on again. We could also see something like this. And that would just, the reason I'm suggesting that is people would be saying double top, we're going to drop. And then we would get a big wick down here and then Bitcoin would blast off. That would be really bullish, but also it would create a lot of liquidity. People would be waiting to short. They would pile into shorts around here and then market makers would reverse and that would give us the liquidity to get up there. So that might be something that plays out over the next 48 hours. What does that take us to? Thursday, so maybe a bit longer, but watch out for something like that to happen. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't have any right this second, Lewis. I'm waiting on the weekly candle close and then we will have plenty tomorrow morning. We have got our eyes on a few setups that have kind of starting to play out, but with the week we've just had, we want to kind of just wait for the weekly candle close and see where we're at before we dive into some more trades. We definitely have a lot to come this week though. There's a lot of nice setups forming, a lot of coins at key levels, and if they hold those levels or break out, then we will be taking them with our copy trading account. Anyone that's not following us, search for CC Pro on BitGet. Use the link in the description to make sure you sign up with our link, otherwise you can't follow us. And if you're not in CC Pro, make sure to join. Link in description. Things are heating up in the market. We've just had a 10% move in Bitcoin in a week. Things are getting very exciting. So yeah, thanks Lewis. 110% profit yesterday. Nice. So yeah, things are heating up. Time to get involved. Time to take action. Life-changing money is less than 18 months away. So get involved. Follow CC Pro on Twitter as well. And that is us. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you again next time.
We're not paying.